Welcome to this month's Member to Member Connection. I'm ASHRAE President Mick Schwedler, and this month our topic is what are members outside of North America deal with it? Today we have three panelists with us. One is Japp Hoegling. Japp is a director at large. He lives in the Netherlands, and his perspective is from ISSO, which is a Netherlands organization. Ashish Rakehja is a director at large from India, and which is in region at large, and he's also a nominee for vice president for our next year's slate. So congratulations on that, Ashish. Ashish is an engineer, and he's also been involved in the technical committees and standing committees within ASHRAE. And our third panelist is Andres Sepulva. He's in Spain. He's a director and regional chair at Region 14. So let's get started with the questions and answers. Ashish, you've been involved as chapter president and now a nominee for vice president. Can you share some thoughts you have on the importance of the grassroots and our technical roots working together?
Thank you, Mick, and happy to be part of this edition with you. I think ASHRAE is all about a mix of technical and grassroots. Grassroots is what builds us up, and technical is what helps us to excel. This is what we are all about. If you look at it, heart of it, each one of us is an engineer. It is just that by our own preference or by our liking, we have stuck to a grassroots side where we're trying to build up the society from the bottom up. And on the other side, there are those who like to stay purely involved with the technical. But at the end of the day, unless we join hands, we are together working, I don't think either one of us is going to achieve the objective. So it has to be hand in hand. ASHRAE is a technical society built by the grassroots itself. So there is no separating two of them.
Great, thank you for the great answer, Ashish. Japp, we're coming to you next. Living in the Netherlands, there's not a local ASHRAE chapter. Can you share how this might affect you and others who are in similar circumstances?
Yes, thank you for the question. Yes, no chapter means that you as an ASHRAE member will follow what's about ASHRAE in Europe via Region 14 information, which is very well established for us as ASHRAE members. If you are, as an ASHRAE member, are already active at technical or organizational level in ASHRAE, not having a local chapter is not really a problem. In general, most ASHRAE members in the Netherlands and surrounding countries that have no chapter are also member of their national professional organizations, where they connect with each other on national level. And if you have no chapter in your country, I could advise you to connect with your national professional association, which maybe in most cases also the ASA member of ASHRAE, and discuss the possibility to set up an ASHRAE group in your national association to meet with each other. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Japp. Andres now is Director and Regional Chair of Region 14, and that's for our North American members. That's primarily Europe and also includes Israel. Can you give us a high-level view of how you see membership in places outside of North America?
Okay, well, members outside of North America, they can see just a part of ASHRAE. It's like an iceberg. You see what is on the top above the sea level. And I think that the challenge is how we make them aware of the opportunities or resources ASHRAE can propose to members and potential members who have never experienced a summer-winter meeting. And that is a bit of what we believe, that if they attend a winter or summer meeting, or a summer-winter meeting come to them, I think that they will be more engaged. And of course, I mean that they will join ASHRAE immediately. So I think that the reputation and image of ASHRAE is great outside North America, and maybe our challenge is how we make ASHRAE truly relevant and global. And to that end, we are very satisfied with the support we get from you in North America.
Thank you very much, Andres. The next question is going to come to you, Japp. I touched a little bit on time zone challenges and language, and all three of you have noticed my accent. From your viewpoint, what other challenges or opportunities do you see, Jaap?
Well, I must say that on time zones and language, as we meet more and more virtual, time zones are a challenge, of course. For us in Europe, it means when we meet with North American groups, but also with Asian group, it should be in the late afternoon, or even more challenges for those in Asia in the evening. And that is a problem. On the language, I could say it's even better to have virtual meetings because the audio is better. Because I know from the ASHRAE winter and summer meetings in those meeting rooms with noisy air conditioners, it is not always that easy to understand each other, especially when you have to listen to different accents, as you noted. But I think most of European people are accustomed to that, and they can manage, no problem.
Thank you very much, Jaap. Andres, would you go next, please?
Yeah, well, I think that as Jaap mentioned, I mean, well, those accent, language, or difficulty we need to express ourselves is a challenge when you are not in an audio or you have to attend personally on this. Time zone is something that we appreciate that is taken into consideration, but we share quite a number of things, and we are always in a learning position to learn from you. So I appreciate that.
Thank you very much, Andres. Now, Ashish, people in region at large in our region 13, which is portions of, I'll say, Southeast Asia, Japan, Malaysia, etc. Your time zones are quite different. When we started this morning, it was 6 a.m. here in central Chicago time. And what time was it where you are?
Well, it's very comfortable for me. It's right now it's 5:30 in the evening, so that's not bad.
We started a meeting at noon Central Time. It gets pretty bad for you and other folks. Can you talk about both time zone and different opportunities that we might have or challenges?
Right. So since you spoke about the noon, I would say that the board meetings that we had recently at the winter meeting, which happened, just finished, which we started the local Las Vegas time, were 3 a.m. for me in the morning. So yes, that could be challenging. But okay, on the other side, I think in the virtual world that we have been for the last 2 years, and the meetings that we've been doing virtually, I think it's not been a challenge for us at all, because first of all, we know what we are signing in for. We are very well aware when we become an ASHRAE member and we are taking a position, it is something that we are accepting it and we know what we are getting in, number one. Number two, as far as the time zones are concerned, you cannot accommodate all time zones, because if I look at the region at large and going on to region 13, from Japan, where the sun rises, till the point the Middle East, I think you've got several hours in between. So there are certain challenges we face, but most of them, I would say Middle East is able to fit in, the India is able to fit in, the Indian subcontinent is able to fit in. It's only when we start going far east towards Japan and all the timings become a little off. But then, as I said, we all are signing it for it. As far as the language barrier goes, I don't think most part of the region at large and most part of the region 13 and the Indian subcontinent, for us, English has been a language. And at least I can speak for myself. Right from the day one, English has been a second language for me. So it's not a challenge, and we don't see that. And in fact, a lot of ASHRAE standards and all are referred out here, which come in English language, and we don't even require them to be translated. So not a challenge. I think it's the way currently we are. It fits in well.
Thank you very much. And just for those in North America, when we're scheduling virtual meetings, let's consider all the people who are on that meeting and look at their time zones. It's pretty easy to figure out, and sometimes evening out the pain, if you will, is a wonderful thing to do. Next question is going to come to you first, Andres. Is having had the opportunity to attend chapters, regional conferences in many areas. I've seen that sometimes ASHRAE procedures don't fit well in local cultures. Can you share an example of a rule or procedure that was foreign, not well understood, and actually made the conference or meeting less effective?
Well, thank you for the question. I think that what we try to do in our region, what do you think is a bunch of different culture? We are a continent with different culture. We say that we try to tropicalize your rules and procedures. But you know, one important thing is about it's a learning process, and I think that your ground rules, the way you respect each other, when anyone is debating or discussing any matter, is something that we try to intensify when we are at business meetings. So motion particularly is something that we are always impressed with other CLC we discuss, the way that you have to submit the discussion, the voting, the democratic voting is something important. But you know, we are trying to understand that. We are also trying to make a bit different and give time to chapters to spend more time in discussing their challenges and opportunity to listen to them. But I think it's a learning process, and we are very happy to adopt and sometimes tropicalize your procedures.
Thank you so much, Andres. Ashish, could you go next, please?
Okay. So, Mick, if you look at it, one of the most foreign thing for us has been the Roberts Rule of Order. And I can tell you a lot of people in America don't understand that. Imagine us from different parts of the world. That's been a challenge even till date. We try to struggle with that. That's the biggest issue that but having said that, I think it's been over years. When we started with the ASHRAE region at large, yes, when there's a new region, all of us were getting inducted into ASHRAE. There were a lot of things we used to consider foreign. But now over a period of years, there's a gradual, the entire leadership comes through it builds up right from the bottom, it goes up. So they learn the ways of ASHRAE, they learn the way the things are conducted and the way they're organized. I would say it's a very organized way the things are done. Even the Robert Rules of Order, a very, very organized way of doing the things. So there's a lot of learning back we carry. I don't think there's anything which is foreign anymore. It is built and people are very well adapting to it now.
Thank you, Ashish. I will share that people inside of North America struggle with Robert's rules also. So the board's actually looking at trying to, and our Society's Rules Committee is looking at trying to put together simplified rules that hopefully will help with that. Jaap, what would you like to share?
Well, I will not repeat what was said. I all agree with that. I've participated in some chapter meetings and also partly in region meetings in ASHRAE in Europe. And well, I have the impression that the ASHRAE bureaucracy, the ruling system, was not always welcomed by the members. They found it, well, difficult to read all those papers and it's impressive, this ruling system, I must say. But we have to realize that it has been developed over the years in North America, with a North America culture and political background and all the issues on security and on lawyers that play an important role in American society. So I can understand this. But it is difficult for our technicians because they are focused on technical issues and then they hate that sort of things. And I assume that EU ASHRAE members welcome a more lean and mean approach. Some streamlining may benefit the growth of new chapters. And I should advise the ASHRAE to support making ASHRAE rules and organization more lean and mean. I know we speak about this also in ASHRAE board on making the organization more efficient, and I think that is also valid for those ruling systems.
Totally agree. And I'll say I've been at a number of CRCs where the chair rules a little bit differently. And usually it works pretty well if they get in a sticky wicket, as it's said other places, then the senior officers might be able to provide some guidance as to how to move forward. Great answers. Ashish, the next one's going to come to you first. If you had one thing to share with our North American members, what would it be?
I think we have to all realize that ASHRAE is now an international society. And the members in North America also have to start looking at it that way, because the ASHRAE standards, research, documents, everything is referred worldwide in the various countries. And whatever is being developed, talked, discussed, also have to be seen in that perspective. How can it be applied globally? So my suggestion, request would be that whenever we talk about anything at the society level, the members in North America must look at it as an international society which is impacting everywhere in the globe.
Thank you. Jaap, go ahead, please.
Yes, well, I support that, what Ashish is saying. Participating at the technical and organizational level in ASHRAE, sharing knowledge and experience with professionals around the globe will benefit your professional growth. And those ASHRAE members around the globe, they all challenge the same issues: climate change, decarbonization, epidemics. These are all global issues, and we have to solve them all together. And we can strengthen that by working together, but also thinking about that things are different in regulations, in policy, in different parts in Europe, and that makes it sometimes a little bit complicated to discuss. It is not just technical issues that we have to take care of.
Thank you very much, Jaap. Andres?
Yeah, I would like to add, of course, I will try to encourage the exchange of ideas. We have so many things in common. We have important one, is the passion for ASHRAE. But in terms of technical target, as it was mentioned, well, a circular and decarbonized building environment, better and safer and healthier indoor climate. So there are so many things in common that we need to work together and to be, in order to help ASHRAE to be much more relevant and global worldwide. So that is something that I will really go for it.
Thank you very much, all three of you. And really, from my perspective, I've seen exactly the same thing. Sometimes I will get a tunnel vision of what I've known, but being part of ASHRAE, we have access to people throughout the world. And it's easy to reach out. People share, they give the information freely, and it really helps us get a perspective on those global issues, like you mentioned, the climate change, the health and safety, the epidemics. Everything's connected. If we learned something over the last 2 years, everything in our world is connected. So our last question is going to come to you first, Jaap, and that is, in closing, what brief piece of advice would you like to give members from your region?
If you are interested to share experience and knowledge around the globe, and not just in your country, and not just in Europe, ASHRAE is a place to go. And please, if you have no chapters, go to your national associations, try to interconnect, and bring together the people who are interested in a change in our world, in the field of climate change and decarbonization and all the other issues that are on our plate at this moment.
Thank you, Jaap. Andres, could you go next, please?
Yes, I think that a bit of a message is that ASHRAE doesn't want to impose American standards in Europe or abroad. On the contrary, just to share best practices, and that is really the treasure from ASHRAE. How these best practices also can be shared and at the same time can be improved. The ASHRAE is always very happy to receive feedbacks in order to improve those best practices.
Thanks, Andres. And Ashish, if you'll close us from a panel standpoint, please.
Okay, so Mick, the place where I come from, I would say region at large and the region 13 both, most of the chapters are also countries by themselves. So each country is a chapter here. And in each of these countries, most of these countries, there are local associations also. So when we come as a member at ASHRAE, there's a dual thing. Number one, we are carrying, there's a lot of there's a lot of work that we do back at our chapters. So we are doing a connection with the ASHRAE. So our members should look at it as something that an opportunity to deal with the international platform, which the ASHRAE is offering. And also there's a responsibility of a two-way communication, that we are able to communicate what are the best practices happening in our countries and what we can convey to ASHRAE, plus also take it back from there. So we are actually, in a way, ambassadors also, which are carrying the technical information back and forth. So this is something that we should keep in mind. ASHRAE is a great resource for technical, which is worldwide respected, and a great platform also to develop friendships, which I have done over the last 20 years.
I love that word, the ambassador. We're all ambassadors everywhere. And within ASHRAE, we're truly a global society. We get to have that global impact and also the global growth and the personal friendships. And given our society's theme this year, all three of you have fed the roots of so many people in different areas, including North America. So we want to thank everybody for joining us on this month's Member to Member Connection. And we look forward to seeing you again next month.